such a fun day. I cannot wait to get into it. I thought it'd be fun to take you along because we have some really fun things happening today. All things spring, which I'm so ready to welcome the season. Grass is finally starting to green up a little bit and trees are starting to bud, and anyway, I'm just thrilled. We do have some just typical homemaking stuff thrown into the mix today for sure, such as laundry, homeschool, some different things like that, but then also spring specific things that I need to get done today, such as seed starting, which I know some of you were asking about how I do that, and it's honestly so easy. So I'm happy to take you along, as well as putting together the kids' Easter baskets, making resurrection gardens, a sourdough garden focaccia, which I'm so excited about. Let me know in the comments below what you're working on today. You'll have to tell me, do I look like Ma Ingalls today in my apron? I actually really love this style. I've been seeing it a bunch with just a linen apron thrown over a dress, and it's super practical, like for my day-to-day life, honestly. This dress is from Ivy City Co. last summer, I think. I'll have to see if they still have it. If it is, I'll link it down below. And then this apron is off of a small shop on Etsy. Again, I've had it for probably at least a year. I'll see if I can link that as well. But speaking of dresses, this is my Easter dress, which I thought of because it's also from Ivy City. Isn't that so pretty? I love the detail, and I actually got the same ones for the little girls. Isn't that so cute? I don't quite know how I feel about like being so matchy-matchy, like completely identical, but the girls absolutely love it, so I'm excited for that. Broccoli soup. It's actually supposedly a copycat of the Panera broccoli soup. I have all this broccoli here that really needs to be used up. It's starting to go bad on me. So I'm going to use that, and I'll have the recipe linked down below. But we discovered recently that we actually love it even more if you make it as it says and then actually throw it in the blender and blend it and have it just be like a cream soup. It's really good with sourdough. So I'm kind of excited about my broccoli problem today because it's so tasty. But I'm going to start off with refrying the onions a little bit. I don't know if soup can technically be called a spring food. It's probably more fall and winter, but I love soups with lots of veggies in them. So this one qualifies as that. I don't have carrots, which usually I would put shredded carrots in, but I've done this recipe so many times and just kind of mix and match with what I have, whatever veggies I have on hand, and it always tastes good. So it's pretty versatile when it comes to what kinds of veggies you put in, as long as you've got the broccoli.
Deep and
I added some sea salt into the soup now and actually really love the chili flakes. I didn't add it for the longest time, but they make such a difference and add a tiny little bit of zip to the soup.
Until my heart gives in, I will do everything I can for you.
We're ready to work on the resurrection gardens. Kyra and Hudson will be here in a minute. And we love to do this every year just to remind ourselves of what the true meaning of Easter is. And we'll have this maybe as a centerpiece on the table or somewhere where we walk by it a bunch. You can come. Leslie, can Hudson come around this side? Or good. Some of our favorite items to use when we're making these resurrection gardens is obviously this one's kind of dirty because I had herbs sitting in it. It's the bottom of a terracotta pot. You can buy the plate separate, so that's what we like to use for the base. And then an empty terracotta pot, this will be the empty grave. And then I have a little bag of stones to make a little pathway leading up to the empty grave. And then we love to get some of these little miniature pieces from the greenhouse. It's by like the fairy garden stuff. That just adds some fun little accents. We have some pansies here and then some moss. Wow, that's loud. Some moss that the kids gathered outside. Let's see if you want to help put some dirt in there. You can. Well, what was in the grave on Easter?
Jesus was in it. Nothing.
Nothing. It was empty.
That looks like fun. Can I take one out? No, that one's gonna need quite so much moss.
Okay.
Poppy, can I take one?
You're always resting at my door. Though I've wavered, you've been waiting. I'm the one you're looking for. Gratefully and humbly, I give you everything. And all that I can sing is thank you, thank you.
All right, while we're out here working in the soil and have our mess, I think we'll just go ahead and plant our seeds. So this is honestly so incredibly easy. I almost feel silly even showing this to you, but since you asked, I just get a bowl of dirt and put some water in it. You don't want it to be dripping wet, but just moist. I'm gonna mix that all in here. One thing I love about starting seeds at home is how versatile it is. I started with just setting some plastic cups with seeds in the windowsill and it was fine. They get leggy a little bit easier that way. Now we have these racks. I'll show them to you. It's still very DIY and not professional looking, but it works really well. It's just these shelves with fluorescent light bulbs. And then I do like to use these trays. So we get them from a local greenhouse supply store. Could possibly even ask for them at a greenhouse and they might have them, but it just has this lid and then these cells that go inside of this tray. So I am just gonna set that in there and then we'll fill the tray with this dirt.
But I did it, Mommy.
Okay. And then I'm actually gonna take my tray and drop it 3 times like this. And it just helps the soil to settle in. As you can see right here, there's some spots that the cells are empty, and then I'll just smooth it over. That way, once the dirt settles, you still have full tray cells. I'm not very professional, but I just take a Sharpie actually and just poke tiny little holes in each cell, trying to get it in the middle of the cell, and that's where you're gonna drop your seed. I don't measure how deep I do this. If you're new to seed starting, you might want to just look up online what your specific seed, how deep it needs to go, but I've found that most of them are generally the same depth, so I just kind of shoot for approximate and they seem to do fine. The seeds that I have left to plant are actually these little zinnia seeds, which if you are new to flower gardening, they are an amazing first cut flower to do. They're so easy to grow. The more you cut them, the more they bloom and bloom all season. So these are the Cinderella. They are kind of like a double layer, like a roughly zinnia. So I'm just gonna pop 1 seed into each cell, depending on what I'm seeding. And for that, I would just read the back of the package because it'll tell you how many to do. But some of them germinate better with 2, and then some I just like to make sure I actually got a seed in, because some of them are like the size of a poppy seed and it's so hard to see when you've actually planted a seed. But I'm gonna pop these right into my little holes, and I think I might have some extra space in this tray, in which case I collected some celosia 2 years ago, I think, from a celosia plant that I had. Gave tons of seeds. I still have a bunch of that, so I'll probably fill the rest of my tray just with those. This is what the celosia seeds look like. So it has a little bit of chaff in it, but you can see they're just super tiny. It's like pepper grains. A little bit of dirt over top of this, and then I try not to spread it too much because I don't want the seeds to pop out of their little spots, but I'm just patting it down a little bit. Since I used damp soil, these do not need to be watered right away. I should show you what sprayer I use. This watering can is super handy. Once the plants are a little bit bigger, like this size, for example, does well with the watering can. However, when you have just tiny, and I have to take my gloves off, sorry, not very pleasing to look at. When they're just really, really tiny, just popped off, this is way too harsh on them. They'll just kind of fall over, might even break off or wash away. And so I like to use this. It's actually a little fertilizer sprayer, and it's not very aesthetically pleasing. But basically what you do is you just pump it like this, and it puts air in, and you can adjust the nozzle how strong you want it to spray. So I just set it to a really fine mist, which perfectly waters the top and is just what the little seedlings like. Works a lot better for them than the watering can. But I'm going to take my cover and we'll just pop this on, and I'll set this under the grow lights, or in my case fluorescent lights, which does the same thing. I'll leave this cover on here until about half of the seedlings in the tray have emerged out of the ground, and then I will take this off and they'll continue to grow without the cover. Like I said, these are nothing fancy to look at, but they've worked really well for us the last couple years. This shelf, I believe we just ordered off of Amazon. The fluorescent lights we also just ordered online, I believe. Josh put these little chains here. You want to make sure that the lights are always about 2 inches above the plants. And then of course, as they get bigger, I'll transplant them out of these tiny little cells and into bigger pots so that their roots can continue to grow and form root systems and things like that. To make this sourdough garden focaccia. I've made this once before. It's honestly kind of like doing art. I'm not great at art, but I do enjoy it on bread. So that's what's next on the agenda. I'm just oiling my pan a little bit with some avocado oil, and then this dough has been rising now about 16 hours. You can let it rise anywhere between 12 and 18 hours. I don't know if you can see this, but it is insanely bubbly, and we're just gonna drop that onto the pan here. Wow, look at that. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna turn this over and actually let it sit for another 1 to 2 hours till it's nice and puffy. It's an hour later now and we are ready to have some fun. This is looking very nice and puffy, so I am just going to kind of stretch and pull this to reach the sides. I wish I could let you feel this dough. It is so squishy, and the previous loaf that I did turned out so airy and light. I don't know, I thought it was delicious. Okay, and then is the fun part. I'm gonna grab a bunch of veggies, some herbs, maybe some pansies, I don't know. The options are endless at this point. Basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna press them into here to make a flower garden. This looks really spring-like, and plus adds some really great flavors. What I found is a bunch of asparagus, I have some onion, mushrooms, I have a bunch of herbs, some pansies. Ideally, I would have liked to get a couple more things. I have some snap peas in the fridge too that I might pull out, but I'm just gonna start playing with this. So I think I'm gonna use the asparagus for my stems today. Oh, that's cute. That's almost like a little tulip. Cilantro to sprinkle a little bit on. Oh my goodness, how fun is that? Definitely try this at home. Tag me on Instagram if you do try it, because I want to see your creations, but look at this. Isn't it so fun? I feel like a kid doing like crafts or something. Obviously, you could make this a lot more colorful. If I had some like bell peppers on hand or carrots on, there's so many options. I actually want to try this in a sweet version. I think that would be super fun. But I'm gonna pop this in the oven and bake it at 425 for about 25 to 30 minutes, and we'll see what it looks like then. Just finished assembling all the Easter baskets, and I ended up actually sharing more of that over on Instagram instead. Linked everything there, so if you don't follow me on Instagram, I do share a lot more like in the moment stuff or links to stuff there as well if you want them earlier. Of course, by the time you're seeing this, it's the week of Easter, so I'm not sure which of this you can all still get on time, although a couple of things are from Amazon, so of course that should be no problem. Often I would put like the kids' summer pajamas or swimsuits, sandals, things that we need anyway for the season, and just kind of like that's the start of when we have them. This year we ended up getting a bunch of that before we went to Florida in February, so I actually put their Easter outfits into these baskets because we'll actually be doing Easter baskets the morning of Easter this year before church because we have gatherings all day. So that worked out well, but a little quick sneak peek. So this is what the baskets look like. Each one of them has one of these cute little Cuddle and Kind dolls. I've got one from this company before, and I love how they give back. I think if you buy one doll, it gives 10 meals to children or something like that, so it's really cool. I love the knit texture of them. And then I have these Beatrix Potter books that I just actually thrifted, But super cute. We have Peter Rabbit, there's Jemima Petal Duck, this is Tom Kitten. Anyway, some different ones. And then their Easter dresses, which for the girls, that's the same one that I showed you before. A little peek of, I also have a matching one. They actually haven't tried these on. I cannot wait to see what they look like. And all these ruffles and the floral. And then I also just popped in these little, they're glass. Like I said before, I'm trying to get away from all things plastic, and they still needed a smoothie cup that was not plastic. So that's what these are for, and I like that they have the protectant sleeve on it. And then I just popped in a couple of Easter eggs in each basket as well. So like I said, very simple. Oh, I have to show you Hudson's. Colors are a little bit different than the girls. Look how cute this is. Let me see if I can get it out. I cannot get over the little carrots stuffed in his pocket. They all have names. I think this is Henry. And then his outfit is gonna be this. It's a beige suit with, I think, a light green. I haven't decided for sure on his shirt yet, but jacket. I actually was able to pick this up at Once Upon a Child and have been kind of saving it for Easter. So anyways, that is what we're doing for the Easter baskets for the kiddos this year. I hope you were inspired by today's video. Thank you so much for following along, and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye, friends.
Golden, golden thing.